Hi there, welcome back. It's been a little while. My name is Isaac and I am from Master GMAT, and today we're going to look at a sentence correction question. I'm glad so many of you requested these kind of questions. I am happy to oblige. So, to start right away, what are we doing in a sentence correction question? Well, the first step in our work order, if you recall, is to obviously read the question and notice anywhere between 0 and 2 mistakes grammatically initially. So you read the question and then you look for between 0 and 2 mistakes. So if you want to do this on your own, basically, and then listen to the explanations afterwards, then just simply pause it now and then unpause it when you are ready. So for those of you trying it on your own, pause the recording now. Okay, welcome back. So what do we do first? Like we said, we read the question first and we find anywhere between, or not find as the case may be, between 0 and 2 errors, grammatically at first and then stylistically obviously later on. So that's our first step in the work order. So when we read this, what do we notice? Always, always, always we must notice the stop signs. And one of the major stop signs we show you, and an important one simply because it is so tricky, is when at the beginning of a sentence there is an ing or a to word, meaning an unconjugated verb, so to speak. This, and it's separated later on by a comma. Usually we call this a modifier. Now when we do have this, we need to check what? We need to check that what is being modified, namely what comes after the comma, in this case manufacturers from various types of glass, etc., is being modified properly by the modifier. Now, is it possible to say that the manufacturers are being processed through production? Does that make sense? Right away we see that it does not. Okay, that's completely illogical. How do we know this? Because, well, manufacturers can't be processed. It's something else that's being processed over here. It's actually the glass that's being processed, right? So right away we know we have a mistake, and we can get rid of anything that contains the same type of grammatical mistake. So certainly A is gone and D is gone. We are left with the correctly modified words, glass, glass, and glass. Right away we see it over here. Had you not seen it, all you would have had to do is actually look at the differences in the answer choices and realize that, oh, okay, it's something to do with glass versus manufacturers. Then you would have remembered and figured this out. So A and D are gone. Now what do we do? Well, do we see any other types of grammar mistakes within the actual original sentence? From various types of glass, in the realization that the more specified the materials they produce, the wider their sales market will be. No, we don't see anything really here. So what do? We go to the answer choices and start comparing those. So let's go to B. So we see that glass is perfectly fine. That is what's being modified. That is what's being processed through production. Fine. So glass is formed into various types by manufacturers in the realization that the more specified the materials they produce, their sales market will be wider. Oops. Well, here what do we have? If you think this is the answer choice, let's just click on this for the hell of it, right? We see that it's actually incorrect. Why is it incorrect? Because we have what's called a double comparative, right? The second part of a double comparative must begin with the word the. In this answer choice, however, it begins with the word there, as we can see up here, right? So we have a double comparative situation. Right? The more specified the materials they produce, their sales market will be wider. Well, we're missing a the from somewhere in the second comparative. It's an odd construction, but it's true. Now look what happens. We don't just give you the answer, we let you try again. We don't want to spoon feed you the answer as many other materials and techniques basically do. We get to try again. Now the answer is blocked out. Pretty cool. And if you're not even sure, if you were stuck on something, look what you can do as well. You can write a little commentary, you send it to us, and we answer back, usually within the same day. Pretty cool. Could get rid of that, and if you're really not sure, you can always revisit the actual lessons. Take a look. Sentence correction, comparative, we give you just a brief sort of picture of the lesson you actually already learned. The lesson is actually really interactive and interesting. This is just a kind of concentrated tiny bit of information about what you're supposed to remember. So back to this. Let's look at the third one. In the third one, it says glass is formed into various, etc., etc. So we see that glass, again, is correctly modified by being processed. However, we do have a little bit of mistake here. Take a look. Still, the sales market will be wider. We do have a double comparative, but the second part of the double comparative must begin with the word the. In this answer choice, it begins with the word there, right? So, glass is formed into who realize that the more specified the material they produce, the sales market will be wider. No, the sales market will be wider. It should start with the wider, etc., etc. Okay, so that doesn't make much sense. We get rid of that. Let's just take a glance at E. Make sure that everything is correct. Glass is correct over here. It's formed into a variety of types by manufacturers in the realization that the more specified the materials they produce, the wider their sales market will be. Now we have a nice parallel comparative or double comparative construction. Indeed, that should be the answer. Let's take a look. And that is it. Okay, so not only is the dangling modifier corrected, original mistake corrected, but also the double comparative problem that sort of crept up in the other answer choices is also corrected. And that's it. That's a little bit of a dangling modifier and double comparative question. Until next time, see you soon.